Gotcha. Halloween's around, okay? Let's get scary. Do you want to scare the crap out of your players? Take these 3 things and incorporate them into your game. Todd, what do we got?
Well, first of all, I think we should build some pressure by implementing a time-based mechanic, like something countdown, something gloom and doom, like the looming pressure of something bad.
You know, something that comes to my mind, there's a game out there, TTRPG, called 10 Candles. It uses a timer mechanic. You as you start the game, you light these 10 candles. As you play, they slowly start to burn out. And in the end, when your candle goes out,
It's a game where nobody escapes alive. And by the end of the game, and the last candle goes out, the last survivor dies. And you are left in darkness to deal with the reality and the circumstances to what just happened.
So imagine sitting around your game and you have these 10 physical candles sitting on your table and you're watching them not only slowly go out, but the room is getting darker and you feel the looming presence of death. This is going to make your game scarier, so we love this, definitely.
The candles themselves represent dice. So the more lit candles there are, the more dice that are in the player's pool. And the more unlit candles there are, or the more dice in the DM or the GM's pool. So as the game goes on and the candles go out, the game falls within the GM's hand.
all right, Rich, I get what you're saying, but, you know, maybe you don't want to play this game in particular, but bring a sense of urgency or, you know, atmospheric just feel with the candles burning out. What Todd was saying, it's getting darker as you're playing. That could be something, you know, to use.
For example, we can take something from Shadow Dark, right? The torch itself is lit by either on your phone in a certain amount of time, or it's lit by the candle itself. And as that goes out, whether it's an hour or half hour or so, your torch goes out as well.
So basically, at the end of the day, these are all time-based mechanics that are going to add a sense of, as Garrett said, urgency to the game, which is, I think, the perfect word, because as you see things wicking out, you realize that that might be you pretty soon. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Now picture this. Let's say you're playing your game, right? And you guys are just rolling dice, things are spooky, but everything's kind of normal at the moment. And then just behind the window, you see something walk by. And then a little bit later, bang, 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 you hear a knock on your front door. Todd, what is this one?
Well, first of all, I love this idea because, you know, did you ever watch a movie and all of a sudden something's sneaking up in the movie, the tension's building, the strings are flaring, and then all of a sudden something falls over in the yard and you jump out of your skin and you're like, what the hell was that? This is what we're trying to employ in the game. So do you have a neighbor or somebody that isn't playing in your game that knows you're going to be immersed in the game around 9:30 p.m. that could come over and do something that could cause, you know, like a burst, like a jump scare of some sort?
All right. So use the environment around you. If you're all playing at a table, the DM sets this up, long tablecloth, all your players come in. You got an extra kid laying around? Put that kid under the table, and an hour into the gameplay, have him grab a party's leg. I mean, the kid might be at risk here, but...
The kid might get kicked in the face,
yeah.
for
Be
the
careful.
plot, you know what I mean?
You're probably going to need to give that kid a device to keep them occupied for an hour under the table, but I love that idea where all of a sudden something grabs your leg.
That's incredible.
I would jump out of his skin.
Picture like somebody like taps on the window with like a broomstick or something. And even the DM themselves are terrified.
Or possibly someone's on the second floor and they lower a pumpkin with a, you know, like a jack-o'-lantern with a candle in it on a string out the window, and it comes down and lands perfectly in front of the window right outside where you guys are gaming. These are some of the fun things you can do to just sort of like send your players off the rails and really cause the hair to stand up on the back of their necks.
Hell yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
That sounds great. I'm a big fan of sound, and I think that sound immersion is probably one of the top ways to fully immerse your table and get them really feeling a little bit prickly.
So on the premise of spooky sound, you have an Alexa Dot, you know, in another room upstairs. You can set a routine in the app to play a certain sound at a time. Have a scream go off mid, you know, play session. Really bring up that intense of a distant sound far away from the table.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And imagine that sound goes off, and then this subwoofer underneath the table starts to kind of rumble, and you start feeling it in your legs.
Yeah, so like subwoofers are not something everybody has, but maybe you do have an extra subwoofer. And listen, if you're young out there and you know that dad's got a subwoofer behind the couch for the surround sound system, don't go disconnect that and say that we told you to do that. But I want to get back to Garrett's point really quick, because you can buy what's called an Echo button from Amazon. It works with that Alexa Dot. And sometimes they sell a little pack of 6 of them. You can program those buttons like a little soundboard to play from the different dots that you have around the house, which could be kind of cool because they don't know where the sound's coming from next.
Now, there are plenty of different places you can go to get sound, right? There's Sirenscape, where you can get officially Dungeons and Dragons licensed soundscapes for, let's say, Curse of Strahd and everything. And these ones are really interesting because they go chapter by chapter with each module, right? So chapter 1, maybe there's something for like Murder House in Curse of Strahd, and there's officially licensed monster sounds and all this, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. The buck, however, is $14 a month, so it can get a little more expensive.
Or Sirenscape's not really your cup of tea and you're just looking for more of an atmospheric type of sound. We love to use Pocket Bard. They have an awesome app that integrates levels and volumes and different sound bits in there. It's a little more, cut down than your giant Sirenscape D&D license.
But really effective in its simplicity, because it's got this kind of like, you select a scene, and then inside that scene, you've got the ability to sort of look around and explore that scene, but there's also combat, and then there's also victory, and they all seamlessly work with one another. So there's a kind of seamlessness to it that's pretty cool. This could also work well to get your players immersed in sound.
Those were just 3 ways to make your game scarier. Use them, chuck them out, whatever. But if you found this useful, we're going to make a sequel to this video and give you 3 more ways to make your game scarier. So please subscribe, please like it, please comment if these worked for you, or if you have any other ways to make your game scarier. We would love to hear it. Thank you for watching. Get spooky.